Game Up with Kev, what is up, my family? We are back, and today I want to switch it up and check out some horror animated stories. These two stories are about Chuck E. Cheese. Smash that thumbs up button right now, or Chucky's gonna come for you tonight. Also, subscribe to my daily life channel, A Day with Kev. That link is at the top of my description box.
I am a fan of Chuck E. Cheese.
Me too.
And I've been going there since I was 4 years old. I get all filled with joy when I see my parents driving our car to the Chuck E. Cheese Pizza Time Theater. I go there mostly for the games and pizza, but I also love Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah.
My family has been going there since it first opened in 1977. Back then, I was creeped out of the Chuck E. Cheese robot that always stood at the back of the place.
Yes, the robots that sit at the back and they be singing and dancing. They're so creepy. All the little kids are scared of them. And then as you start getting older, you're just like, they're weird.
I was creeped out of the Chuck E. Cheese robot that always stood at the back of the place. It was right in the wall by the area where the birthday parties are held. And it's turned on throughout the whole day the place is opened. It moves to the songs that are played back there. Also, whenever somebody has a birthday party, there's someone dressed in a Chucky costume that dances with the kids, and the songs played on the speakers. After the dance with Chucky, there's a ticket confetti thrown by Chucky himself for the kids to have free tickets. Throughout the years, there have been a couple weird occurrences that happened in the Chuck E. Cheese that I attended my whole life. For example, there was a complete blackout and total silence for like 5 minutes one time.
Ooh.
When the lights finally turned back on, everything went back to normal as if nothing happened. It was pretty scary.
So the lights went off for a few minutes in Chuck E. Cheese. And then boom, all of a sudden they come back on. Is Chucky and his friends still there?
It was as dark as my room at night when I go to sleep. And the fact that it was totally silent for the entire time made it even more creepy for me. Another weird occurrence that happened was the Chuck E. Cheese robot completely stopped.
Look at his eyes.
He just looked at me.
Whoa. So Chucky was looking that way, and then he turns his eyes slowly. And now he's looking at you. Boom! I'm just playing.
It kept staring right at me, but its eyes didn't follow when I moved around. I moved away from its crosshairs, and it didn't follow. So it wasn't as creepy, but still pretty creepy. There was another occurrence that wasn't quite right, and what happened was Chucky just fell down and hit his head while doing the free tickets dance.
My bad, I know that's not funny, but I'm just thinking about like Chucky has been doing so much that whole day. He was just tired. Like all that dancing and all of that. Chucky's like, you know what? I'm about to take a nap. I'm out, bruh. Chucky crashed out. Okay. All right, back to the story.
All the dancing just completely stopped. All the kids next to me, who were just dancing 3 seconds ago, just stood there completely still with their mouths open. Chucky got back up and walked like a zombie around in circles, while taking bold looks at the kids. He was just circling around the place, where he was dancing and walking the same way that a drunk person would walk. It was clear that he probably had some sort of brain damage.
Oh, because he
Even
failed.
as an 8-year-old, I knew that it had to be something like that. An ambulance was called in, and the paramedics said that he had brain trauma, but I learned later that he survived. Chucky came back about a week or two later. That isn't all the strange happenings that I've witnessed, but that's some of them. My parents would watch me when I was dancing with Chucky for the free tickets, but they'd barely even pay attention when I went to play arcade games. And now they know they'll have to supervise me a lot more because of what happened that fateful day. On my 10th and most likely last birthday at Chuck E. Cheese, my parents said they'd make it a very special day for me.
So this is his 10th birthday. 10th and final birthday going to Chuck E. Cheese. So his parents said, hey, look, we're going to make this special for you. This is the last one.
How would it be special, you ask? They let me stay in the Chuck E. Cheese for 6 hours.
6 hours in Chuck E. Cheese? Yo, 6 hours in Chuck E. Cheese, bruh. Hey, that's litty. Yo, I just got super happy. 6 hours in Chuck E. Cheese, though. The pizza, the games, all to yourself? Bruh. Y'all got to think about that. 6 hours in Chuck E. Cheese to yourself.
We normally stayed there for only 1 or 2 hours. So I decided to run around and play on every single arcade game.
I would have too.
My parents had given me several hundred tokens, so I had more than enough to enjoy my birthday. I really loved the section of the place with skee ball.
Yeah.
I had gotten at least 30,000 points from this.
Hey, skee ball is one of my favorite games, but I'm always on the basketball court as well. You know, the little court. It's so competitive on the Chuck E. Cheese basketball court. And like everybody thinks they can beat each other, but skee ball is competitive too. But I can never get it in the holes up here for some reason. I probably got it in this hole once in 30 years.
I had gotten at least 30,000 points from this, which was a lot more than usual. And there was a guy who was watching me the whole time.
Who is that?
He congratulated me for getting the highest score anybody had ever gotten in the history of that restaurant. And I thanked him. He told me I deserved a prize.
Ooh.
And pulled out something from his bag.
Wait, see? See these little random strangers? That's why you can't be listening and trusting strangers. He was like, hey, you got the highest score ever. Take this prize. And then he pull out a tape. Like, bro, you better pull out some money and something. Okay, don't talk to strangers.
He told me I deserved a prize and pulled out something from his bag. It appeared to be this black rectangular brick, which I then realized right away was a VHS tape. It was weird because nobody had ever given me a VHS tape before. I looked at the label of it and it said, "Evidence, do not tamper." I thought maybe the guy who gave it to me was a police officer. So I asked him if he was, and he said no. He told me he was a janitor there and said to tell my parents to give it to the police.
Oh. So he's a janitor there. He found that while he was cleaning, and he told this dude, get this to your parents. Hey, this getting a little cray-cray. This getting a little crazy.
He told me he was a janitor there and said to tell my parents to give it to the police. I asked him what was on the tape.
Yeah,
what's something terrible happened here.
Something terrible happened here, and he saw it?
The police need to know about this. Please give it to the cops. Why would he give that as a prize?
Right.
Definitely not a prize in my opinion. I got pretty curious about what was on it, but decided to go do what the guy told me, and ran to my parents to give them the tape. They told me when we left they'd give it to the cops. By the time I had given it to my parents, the pizza was already there. I didn't recognize the kind of pizza, so I asked my parents what it was, and they told me it was the new one. It was called Chucky's Special.
Uh-oh. So they got a pizza on the table. He said, hey, what kind of pizza is this? The Chucky Special. Think about that. The Chucky Special.
And they told me it was the new one. It was called Chucky's Special. I then remembered seeing that commercial on TV that showed Chucky talking about making Chuck E. Cheese's better than ever. Brand new pizza was added on the menu. It had lots of sauces and a lot of cheese. I then looked at the pizza and took a piece so I could try it. It was the best pizza I'd ever tasted.
Okay, so it's fire.
It was a lot better than regular cheese pizza. As I was eating the pizza, I bit down on something weird. I pulled it out of my mouth and realized it kind of looked like part of a finger.
Oh.
I asked my mom what she thought it was, and she took it out of my hands and screamed, "What the hell is this?" She called over an employee and asked him about it. He looked at it, absolutely horrified, immediately going to tell his manager. The manager walked over and picked up a red telephone on his desk to make a call. He was apparently calling the police, who immediately came to investigate the restaurant. Before they did, though, I reminded my mom to give them the VHS tape. The police officer thanked us and asked if we knew what happened. We told him no, just that someone's finger was on our pizza. He was mortified. I could tell because his face went completely pale. He wrote down everything my parents would tell him, and we were eventually ordered to evacuate the restaurant so that the police could fully investigate. They also closed down the restaurant and made sure no one else could get in. We went home and turned on our TV and saw on the news that they'd found 2 bodies of young children in the Chuck E. Cheese.
They found 2 bodies of young children in the Chuck E. Cheese.
It also mentioned a VHS tape that had been reviewed by the police. And on the tape was Chucky giving some pizza and soda to 2 little girls, who were around 8 or 9. Then later in the tape, it showed the 2 kids pass out on the spot. Chucky came back with a butcher knife and chopped both the bodies up into small pieces of flesh.
So Chucky gave some pizza and so did the two little girls.
Who were around 8 or 9.
Who were around 8 or 9 years old.
Then later in the tape, it showed the 2 kids pass out on the spot.
And then the kids passed out on the spot, bruh. Passed out on the spot.
Chucky came back with a butcher knife.
Chucky came back with a butcher knife? No, Chucky. With a butcher's knife?
And chopped both the bodies up into small pieces of flesh. The camera pointed to the kitchen where Chucky was mixing the body parts into the pizza while he was smiling and looking at the camera. He said, "This will make the pizza better than it's ever been."
He said, "This will make the pizza better than it's ever been." Bruh, he put the kids' body parts in our pizza, though. In our pizza.
He said, "This will make the pizza better than it's ever been." And that was pretty much the entire tape. Chucky was eventually caught and committed to a mental hospital. He was questioned about the murders and said that he just wanted to make the pizza better.
So he just wanted to... I'm sorry, guys. Chucky told the authorities he just wanted to make the pizza better. So he put body parts in the pizza. Okay, Chucky. What an evil mouse.
He was questioned about the murders and said that he just wanted to make the pizza better. He started crying, saying, "I'm not a bad mouse," repeatedly, even on the way to court. That Chuck E. Cheese pizza was shut down permanently and has never reopened.
Wow, they shut it down.
It's now 2021, a long time since that event happened. I'm lying down in the middle of the kitchen table, quite injured. I have no idea what's happening now, but the last thing I remember was going to my son's birthday party at a Chuck E. Cheese. I saw my son pass out, and everyone around me was passing out as well. Then the very last thing I remember was Chucky smashing everyone who was still conscious on the head with a baseball bat.
Chucky, no.
I see Chucky right next to me with a bloody butcher knife, smiling at me. "Welcome to my kitchen." He's going over to the sink to sharpen his knife. If I get out alive, I'll update this.
He's still in there? Wow. If he gets out alive, he'll update this. Bruh, that's crazy. Okay, let's go to story 2.
Animatronics have always been kind of creepy. I honestly don't really understand how they've ever become so popular. Because there was never a time in history when non-living things copying human mannerisms wasn't scary. I guess maybe it's sort of like a car wreck. While it's terrifying, you just can't seem to look away. My wife and I visited Death Valley on a weekend road trip. It was incredible getting to look out and see the completely open air away from the hustle and bustle of the big city. The sunset was magnificent, truly one of the most awe-inspiring things I've ever seen. Just coming out to the highway wasn't nearly enough for us, though. We wanted no sign of civilization in sight. So we got onto a small dirt road and just started driving out into the desert. Finally, we found a little place to pull off the side of the road and get into the back of the truck. I blew up my air mattress in the back and we laid on it beneath a sky full of stars. About an hour later, though, I woke to a strange voice murmuring out in the darkness. I looked around for a bit but saw nothing. Figuring it was just some sort of dream in my half-awake state, I laid back down to sleep. I awoke to the sun blazing down on my face and hot sand blowing across my skin. Considering that when we had gotten there the night before it was completely dark, I looked around at the area fascinated at where we had ended up. There was nothing around for miles, except about 50 feet away from the car, there was something standing out in the desert.
Look at Chucky.
It looked truly surreal. I hopped off the truck and realized it was an old Chuck E. Cheese animatronic. Not having seen one of those in years, I got very excited and told my wife to come over. It had many of its old mechanisms still in place, too. In fact, it was honestly a bit strange that someone would leave such an intact animatronic out there to rot. There was also an old note taped to the bottom, but the writing had faded away. I decided to take the animatronic with us. I'm a pretty decent mechanic, and I figured I could fix it.
Oh, you want to fix it?
After bringing it back to the house,
Wow, he took Chucky, the animatronic, back to the house. So they were pretty much cruising. Then they pulled over to the side of the road to kick it, you know, chill a little bit. He hears something and then he looks over there and he sees this Chucky animatronic just standing on the side of the highway, looking his way. So of course he's gonna get excited, because I would get excited if I saw Chucky over there too. I don't know about this Chucky because he look a mess, but it's Chucky, so he got a little too excited and took him back home to fix him.
after bringing it back to the house, I put it in the shed. But my wife hated the thing and would ask me what I was going to do with it every chance she got.
So his wife did not want Chucky around. She hated it. She said, "What are you going to do with Chucky? Get him out of here. Get rid of him. I don't care what you do with him, but get him out of here."
I kept telling her I'd fix it up and make it cool so I could give it to our son Matthew. That only bought me about a week and a half though. So I started working on it and actually got it done pretty quickly. I was even able to give it to Matthew on his birthday.
So they gave their son Matthew a birthday gift, a fixed up Chucky. So dad fixed him up and said, "Here, Matthew, here's your birthday gift. An animatronic Chucky." What a birthday gift.
I set it up in his playroom, even buying some of the actual Chuck E. Cheese clothes online and putting them on for him. It really looked just like one of the ones from the restaurant, and he already loved the character, so he went nuts when he saw I had built him his own animatronic. He would play for hours in there with the thing. Even though I couldn't really get it to sing all that well, it always jammed up and had this mysterious hum emitting from its backside. I figured that was probably why someone had abandoned it out in the desert in the first place. Over the coming months, he seemed to create a friendship with the thing. We would hear him chatting in the room with it all day long.
Wait, so as months went by, they would hear their son chatting, having conversations with Chucky.
It started to disturb us a bit, though, because when we would walk into the room, he would immediately stop talking.
Ah, so when they would walk into the room, Chucky and Matthew would stop talking. Got it.
I asked him once what they were saying, and he told me that Chucky was telling him about things they could do for fun. He also said that Chucky wasn't his name anymore, that its name was Matthew now.
Wait, so Chucky said, "My name ain't Chucky no more, my name is Matthew." Is Chucky trying to turn into their son?
And that he was Chucky. I thought that was weird, but he was a 6-year-old. It probably wasn't the weirdest thing he had ever said.
Wait, he's 6? That's 6? That's like 60. That's 6? His shoulder's like mine. Wait. Okay.
I thought that was weird, but he was a 6-year-old. It probably wasn't the weirdest thing he had ever said. When he started dressing Chucky in his clothes, though, I started getting a bit more concerned. Every time I would ask him why he was putting his clothes on Chucky, he would just say that it wasn't Chucky, it was Matthew. At the same time, he began to grow more and more distant. He wouldn't answer us when we would ask him questions and wouldn't even hug us anymore. It was like he had become a total stranger. Thinking there might be some real psychological issues going on with him, we scheduled a few sessions with a therapist, but she basically just told us what we already knew. Matthew had the belief that he wasn't Matthew anymore, and was totally convinced that the Chuck E. Cheese animatronic was the real Matthew. Horrified, we told him he wasn't allowed to play with the animatronic anymore.
Oh, they told him you can't play with Chucky anymore. Because he started thinking he was Chucky because Chucky was telling him, "You're Chucky, I'm Matthew." So he started to believe he was Chucky.
Then that night at dinner we were disturbed by a knock at the door. It was a woman telling me to stop scaring the neighborhood kids with our robot waving out the window.
So a neighbor comes to the front door like, "Beep, beep, 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 beep. Hey, can you stop scaring the neighborhood kids waving out the window? Your little Chucky animatronic, we see him waving out the window."
I told her that it couldn't wave, and that it wasn't even pointed towards the window. But she scoffed and turned away, not believing me. Stunned, I slowly walked back to the playroom to check. When I opened the door, I noticed that
Chucky was turned around, bruh. Ooh. Chucky was not turned that way before. So he is facing the window. No.
When I opened the door, I noticed that the Chucky was now looking out the window. I thought maybe Matthew had turned it around at some point, but he just said that it wasn't him. This stuff was really starting to freak me out.
Put him back in
So
the
I moved
shed.
the animatronic out to my work shed again and planned to dismantle it the first chance I got. Matthew did not like that idea, though. He said that Chucky didn't like being out there in the shed, and if I didn't bring him back, I would regret it.
So Matthew told his dad, Chucky does not like being in the shed. Bring him back in, or some bad things is gonna happen.
Hearing that from my son scared me so much, but I also noticed that he finally referred to the animatronic as Chucky, its own name again, which made me feel like I'd made the right move. Later that night, though, I awoke to Matthew standing above my bed, holding a kitchen knife in his hand.
What?
He was in some sort of trance, just whispering, "Where a kid can be a kid, where a kid can be a kid, where a kid can be a kid."
He turned into Chucky.
I grabbed his arm and ripped the knife away and tossed it to the ground, and he immediately awoke, crying. The next day, I brought the animatronic to the dumpster at the local Walmart and just left it there.
So the next day, he took Chucky to the local Walmart and just dumped him by a trash can. Not in the trash can, right next to the trash can. I mean, now somebody else is gonna look over there and be like, "Oh my God, Chucky! Wow, I love Chucky! Oh, can we take him home, please, please?" You had one job, bro. Throw his butt in the trash can so nobody can see him. Don't stand him right next to the trash can.
Afterwards, I felt a bit calmer, thinking I had finally ridded the house of the horrifying thing. Sadly, I was sorely mistaken. I went outside the next day and the animatronic was back in front of the house.
So he went outside. So he went outside the next day and Chucky was out there like, "What up, though? Hey, what up, though? Thought you got rid of me, huh? Die!" I'm stupid.
I went outside the next day and the animatronic was back in front of the house, just staring at me with that disturbing rat smile.
Oh.
I was beside myself and filled with rage. Immediately, I brought it to the shed and tried to disassemble it.
Oh, he tried to take Chucky apart. He tried to disassemble Chucky. He's like, "I'm taking you apart."
It was weird, though. None of the bolts would come out.
He couldn't take him apart.
Eventually, I moved on to bolt clippers, a sledgehammer, and even a blowtorch. Nothing seemed to damage the thing. Even scarier was that each time I would take a new tool out, I would notice that its eyes were pointed at me, no matter where I was in the room. Out of ideas, I tossed the animatronic into the back of my truck and just started driving. I didn't even know where I was going at first, but eventually I ended up back at Death Valley. I found that little dirt path out into the desert and started driving down it. I ended up at the exact same spot where I'd found it before.
So he took Chucky right back to the same spot where he found him, right there on the side of the freeway. What does that note say? "Beware of this animatronic. Horrible things may happen to you and your family. If you allow this into your house, please stay away." Y'all, this whole time he could have just like threw Chucky behind the bushes or something. Like, I feel like just throw him away somewhere. Why do you keep putting him where people can see him?
Took it out of the truck and left it there. Except at the bottom I attached a note reading, "Beware of this animatronic. Horrible things may happen to you and your family if you allow this into your home. Please, stay away." Luckily, it's been months and I haven't seen the animatronic again. Matthew has started returning back to normal and doesn't have much recollection of the entire event. I still think about it almost every day, though. About what would have happened if I hadn't woken up when I did. So be careful what you bring into your home. There are things out there that appear to be sweet, but just underneath the surface have truly sinister intentions.
Wow, that was awesome. Chuck E. Cheese's. All right, who wants to go to Chuck E. Cheese with me? Anybody? Come on. Leave a comment below. Y'all want to hit it to Chuck E. Cheese? I know Chucky personally. I'll introduce you to him. How about that? Guys, I just wanted to switch it up a little bit and watch some animated horror stories. If y'all want me to do this again, I feel like we're just hanging out together and watching these together. Like, I might as well just pull some snacks out or something. This is so fun to me. I really need y'all to smash that thumbs up button if y'all want more. I want to do this again, but you guys have to like it. So smash that thumbs up button, subscribe for more videos just like this, and click that post notification bell. That way you guys are notified every time your boy GWK uploads. I love y'all from the bottom of my heart, and I will see you guys in the next video.